The most nerve-wracking moment in the fiancé visa process, it's when your foreign fiancé sits down in front of the consular officer. Their heart is racing, the room is quiet. And in the next few minutes, that officer will make a decision that could determine your entire future together. One wrong answer, one moment of hesitation, and everything you've worked for, your plans, your dreams, could come crashing down. But it doesn't have to be that way. I believe in preparation. Well, in fact, I insist on it. And if you and your fiancé take the time to prepare by reviewing the sample questions and interview tips I share in this video, you'll walk into that room with confidence, not fear. Now, if you're already working with me as a VisaCoach client, you know that your petition is front-loaded. That means we've anticipated the officer's concerns and answered them clearly, persuasively, and backed things up with strong, well-chosen supporting evidence. So, because you are a VisaCoach client, expect that your fiancé, well, may only be asked a few easy questions before hearing the words, "Welcome to the United States." But there's no such thing as being too prepared. Even my clients should review this list, well, just in case. And if you're not a VisaCoach client and you want a full copy of these 155 practice questions, well, you can get them for free by subscribing to the VisaCoach monthly newsletter at VisaCoach.com. Hi, I'm Fred Wall, the VisaCoach. I help couples like you successfully navigate the complex and often frustrating U.S. immigration process so you can build your lives together in the United States, well, with confidence and peace of mind. Stay with me through the end of this video because I'll also share questions related to red flags. These are the kind of things that can trigger extra scrutiny and sometimes even a denial. Let's dive in. These questions come directly from thousands of real interviews. I've helped countless couples through the K-1 process. And after each and every interview, I always ask, how did it go? What questions were asked? The result? Well, I have a comprehensive, battle-tested list that prepares you for anything. And I've grouped the questions by topic, so it's a bit easier to digest, I hope. I won't read every question out loud. Well, that would make the video too boring. But I'll offer tips and insights as we go. Now, you can pause the video anytime to review the questions on screen. And again, download the full list from my website if you'd like a written copy. First, the American fiancé's background. Simple questions about name, birthday, hometown, favorite food. These help confirm that you know the basics and have spent some real time together. American fiancé's family. Expect questions about parents, siblings, the ages of people, who they are, what they do, where they live. American fiancé's housing. Expect questions about where your fiancé lives. Knowing these shows you've discussed your future life together. American fiancé's marriage history. If your partner had been married before, be ready to answer questions about their past, including details such as dates and names of children, and if divorced, be ready to explain why it occurred. Honesty, clarity, and consistency matter here. American fiancés' work and finances. What does your fiancé do for a living? How much do they earn? This helps the officer gauge whether you'll be financially secure in the USA and confirms you've discussed what your future life with your partner will be like. Foreign fiancé's background. The consular officer will often ask you some questions about yourself, such as, where are you from? What do you do? What's your English level? These questions usually are asked at the start of the interview to help you warm up and to gauge whether or not the interview can be conducted in English. Foreign fiancé's family awareness of your relationship. Now, marriage is more than the joining of two people. It is also the joining of two families. Being able to share specific details of whether or not your family is aware of your relationship, whether or not they have met your fiancé, and what their thoughts are, is a normal component of planning to marry and may be asked about. And while in most cases, well, parents approve of your plans, it's not required that they do. Foreign fiancé's eligibility for U.S. immigration. The officer may ask some questions to confirm eligibility. These, well, usually have already been answered as part of the application, but be sure to give consistent answers to the application. Foreign fiancé's relationship evidence. Often, the officer will ask, hey, what have you brought with you today? This is to help him gauge how serious you may be. Now, don't be disappointed if he doesn't also ask you to hand over what you have brought. In practice, he already has the evidence he is supposed to review on his desk from the original petition. Courtship and love story. The most powerful answers come from your real heartfelt story. If they ask how you met, when you fell in love, or how the proposal happened, share specific details. Paint the picture. Say, for instance, instead of a terse, he proposed at dinner, provide relevant details, the colors. For example, on July 5th at the fresh seafood restaurant on Main Street, just after dessert, he got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. I was so shocked. I screamed, and the whole restaurant applauded. Now, note, this is just an artificial example similar to one of my clients' actual experiences. Do not copy it. Tell your own unique, honest story. A properly crafted fiancé visa application should include a detailed statement from your American fiancé talking about your courtship together. That is standard for all VisaCoach prepared applications. We help the American to write in their own words the history of your courtship and relationship. Be sure to review this statement and ensure that when you mention dates, locations, and timeline, that your answers are consistent with the written statement. In-person meetings. How many times have you met in person? When? Where? What did you do together? Who did you bring your partner around to meet? Long-distance communications. How do you stay in touch? Video calls, messenger, text, emails? What language is used? Wedding plans. Whether you've made detailed wedding plans or just have a rough idea, it's important to show some thought has gone into this. For example, we haven't made a final decision yet and are considering the following options is a reasonable answer. But we haven't talked about it. We'll decide after I get to the USA is not acceptable. Plans for married life in U.S. Real couples have dreams and plans for their future together. Be prepared to share specific details. The International Marriage Broker Regulation Act, IMBRA. U.S. Congress passed IMBRA as an immigration law in 2006. This law is designed to protect you, the foreign fiancé, from potentially abusive American partners. If you met online at a dating website or used a matchmaker, you should be prepared to answer these questions. American fiancé's criminal history. Well, if your American fiancé has ever been arrested or had a protection order placed against them, this is not a deal breaker, because if it was, you would not have made it so far and be allowed to attend the interview. However, if the consular officer, when he has your partner's FBI background check in his hands, decides to read to you what it says, if you act surprised and not aware of what is on the report, well then that might be a deal breaker. So be sure to discuss this with your partner. If they have had any criminal issues in the past, know the answers to these questions. Don't be surprised. Social media. Now you may be asked about your social media accounts. This has two intentions. One is to determine if your activity is consistent with being genuinely planning to marry your fiancé, and also, well, as a check for anti-American sentiments. Again, honesty is everything. Red flag topics. Now, these questions may arise if your case includes factors like, well, a big age gap, only one in-person meeting, or a short whirlwind courtship. Well, be ready to explain why your relationship is absolutely genuine, despite the apparent red flags. Explain how in your specific case the red flags don't apply, due to what you and your partner share together, such as common interests, culture, family values, religion, culture, etc. Provide specific reasons, not platitudes like age doesn't matter. It is all in the details. And my favorite two questions that have been asked. What is your fiancé's first name? Are you a terrorist? Yes, really. My clients reported being asked these. Final thoughts. You won't be asked every question on this list. Probably only a few. But being over-prepared is always better than being caught off guard. And truthfully, going through these questions together can help strengthen your bond. You'll uncover things you might not have talked about yet, and that's always a good idea to know as much about each other as possible before you get married. Well, like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe to the channel. It helps more couples like you discover this content. And then visit VisaCoach.com to sign up for the free monthly newsletter. And for that, you'll get 2 free ebooks, the 155 K1 visa interview practice questions, and 5 things you must know before starting on your visa. And finally, when you are ready to start your case, book your complimentary case evaluation and speak with me directly. Now, even if your fiancé visa case is nearing its conclusion, you can still benefit from my help with adjustment of status, removal of conditions, and eventually citizenship. And if you're considering hiring VisaCoach, well, let's talk. I'll walk you through your options and what it takes to succeed. Thanks for watching, and best of luck at your K1 interview. Remember, stay calm, be honest, and be proud of your love story. This is Fred Wall, the Visa Coach. I'm helping you bring your fiancé home to start your life together in the USA.